yoga. It's bring your strap to work day. So have your strap nearby. And we'll get centered. Let's check in with the feet. Feel the connection, not just checking in. So really pay attention to how the bottoms of your feet feel in touch with the top of the floor or your mat or your shoes if you're wearing shoes. See if you can let all the work go in your legs. Notice a neutral pelvis. So you might want to wiggle them around a little bit. See if you can get situated to where you feel nice and tall. And do the same with your upper body. Just it's a kind of like a hyper awareness. Just very aware of our postural alignment, as well as feeling like you're maybe forcing anything. See if you can invite ease into this moment. And we use the breath to help us get more ease into the moment. So you can inhale and expand through your belly. On the exhale, soften, relaxing the belly, trying to find stillness in the body except for whatever's moving within the breath. So you can notice maybe teeth clenching or a desire to itch or fidget or shift. And if you need to do all that stuff, of course you can mindfully and then come back to that centering. Pausing for better reflection, so we're not just jumping in with both feet. So we can go ahead and ponder the idea of an intention. And once you feel like you have your intention, you can seal it in, that promise to yourself, bringing your hands to heart center. Let your chin come down to your fingers. And we'll go ahead and release the hands. Good. Let's do a couple of sun flows. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up. And you can keep the elbows slightly bent if you like. On the exhale, bring your palms together down to heart center. Also stretching the neck here. So inhale and lift the gaze. And exhale, lower. One more. And we'll reverse that direction. So inhale here. Exhale as you're opening your arms. I'm able to stretch through the armpits at this point, which feels really good. Just be careful of overstretching. One more here. Good. Now that we have all that taken care of, we're going to go right into a twist. So twisting to your right, leave your knees pointing forward. That really tall spine. Invite the breath through the midsection of the body. Get all the air out on your exhale. When you're ready to inhale again, come back to your center. On that next exhale, you can twist to your left without forcing the twist. And so we're focusing on that breath, expanding through the midsection. When you're ready to inhale, come back to your center. And we're going to exhale and lean forward and try to get all of that stale air out. So go to completion with that exhale. On your inhale, come back up and take a little shrug. Good, and a release with the shoulders. So one shoulder shrug. So we're doing the slow motion one that feels extra beneficial. So let's just hug it up there for a moment. And then we're going to see how slowly we can release that shoulder. Slowly, slowly, let it go. feeling maybe a slight imbalance, and then we'll do the same with the other side. A nice shrug for a sec. And slowly, slowly releasing. Good. Both shoulders get to roll this time. And then we can add the arms. Let's do our elbows. Okay, loosening up the shoulder blades. And then we'll address the shoulder sockets. So we're taking cactus arms. This will be our inhale, of course. And exhale, we'll bring those arms toward each other. Some people can touch, some people cannot touch their elbows. It doesn't matter. You want to feel a stretch. You could also tuck your chin while you're in that closed position. All right, in this one we're going to hold arms open. Get those elbows to where they feel like they're level with your shoulders, if that feels okay. So you can tack that on to every sentence. If it feels okay, do it. On your inhale, reach your fingers up. Oh, there they are, and they can touch. And then we're going to bring the elbows down. So this is strengthening. I'm making that face because I've got some tightness up there in my neck and shoulders. I'll blame the roller skating I did for a couple hours yesterday. Thinking I'm 12 again. All right, one more. And then we can release those arms. Bring some organic movement in. Yeah. Then we'll go back to stretching that neck. So making sure that we have the posture correct. So we're still in the body and only trying to glide the chin forward and back. So it is such a small movement that I think our body or ego, I'm not sure which one, has an urge to do this, right? To like jet the whole body forward because it feels like we're not being very productive, maybe. So that's okay. It's a tiny movement. Then we're going to leave the head back and drop an ear over a shoulder. And just take a little movement here. So it's kind of like a sideways no. Gently bring your head back on. We'll do a couple more of these little chicken heads, drawing chin forward and back. And then leave it back. We'll drop the head over to the other side. So as I'm holding, I'm also noticing any tendency to grip, right? So maybe there's some holding on, subconscious holding on. And that's where I feel like it's beneficial to do some of this. So we're just turning the face down and up a few times. Good. And then you can come back to neutral. Take a shrug or two if you need it to. And, well, some of us need to stay hydrated. Well, all of us do, right? Even if it's nice and chilly where you are, it's good to stay hydrated. All right, so let's go ahead and cat-cow that little spine of ours. So we're gonna start with cat pose, and again, thinking of getting all of the stale air out comfortably, not to the point where you feel like you're holding your breath. On your inhale, lift up through your heart. Breathing in gently, gently, and on your exhale, gently again, letting all of that air go. And what if we made the inhale transition into exhale seamlessly? So there's a gentle flow from inhale into exhale. And then we'll meet back in mountain pose. Good. Reconnect with the structure of your mountain. So the feet at the base of the mountain, crown of the head at the tippy top. And then we're gonna kind of bend our little mountain side to side. And notice what we're feeling. Where are we feeling the stretch? Add an elbow elbow if you want to deepen the stretch. And then maybe reaching your whole arm over. Take your time and remember not to overstretch the body. Both feet grounding into the floor, of course. So I'm noticing when I tip over far enough, I've got one foot that wants to come up. All right, and then we can come back. Yeah, once you feel like you're even Steven. And then I'll turn sideways, but you don't have to. So again, watching the posture. So I'm trying to draw the head back. And we're gonna play around with how it feels to intentionally lean everything forward. So hopefully you can see my hand. My hand is my spine, and it's just going like this and not like this. So just leaning forward with a long spine as opposed to jutting the head forward. So we're gonna keep pushing the head back. And then we're gonna come back up. So way different than our cat pose, right? So shoulders retracted back. We're gonna lean forward again, and this time press into the lap and kind of lift the heart. Not the chin, but the heart. So I feel like it's kind of shoving forward. Whew, that's a lot of work. And then come back, release. Let's go into hips. Let's do the hips next. So I'm just jumping all over the place. So back down into those legs and the hips, the hip socket, the glutes, and low back. What else are we addressing? Digestive system. And of course you can hold underneath. I'm gonna hold on top of my knee for a deeper stretch. You can bring your face in towards your knee. Take a couple of breaths here. And then let's go ahead and release that leg, and we're gonna scoot back and stretch it out. So I'm gonna try to reach through my heel and then get structurally sound upstairs. So we wanna make sure the torso is nice and tall. And then just release that leg. Simple, right? If you need to scoot back out to the edge to do the same thing on the other side. So back and forth for a few lifts. Of course, exhaling on the lift and inhaling when you're moving your leg away. You can stay there, enjoying the stretch, and it should be enjoyable. If it's uncomfortable, you can always back off. We're going to release the leg, scoot on back, just because we want more support underneath the leg. And then we're taking that leg out and trying to reach through the heel. We're going for straight but not locked. One more breath. Yep, and then we're going to release that leg. Scoot forward. And heel toe your feet wide. Okay, considering low back, let's take small circles, and then we'll work our way around into bigger circles, keeping it slow. Switching directions when you feel like you want to. Okay. And maybe one more. Ooh. Hey, let's do one more with awareness into our head placement. So there's that head placement that we were talking about a minute ago. So keeping the upper body in that alignment. Yeah. See if it felt different this time around with that awareness. Just has a different effect. And then, hello Claire. You can just kind of loosen up your head and neck. Oh my, did you have a nice nap? Good. All right, so windshield wipers, heels lifted. Take your time. See what you can find here. This is one we do every single class, so let it feel new. Holding on to the chair is pretty darn important. It gives me the sense of stability, so I'm able to move a little bit more safely, and not only physically, but neurologically. So if our body senses some kind of a fear, like I might fall, it's going to do less, right? So if you're holding on, you're anchoring into the chair, you might be able to get a little bit more into that range of motion. Yeah. Okay. And then we get to come over into our lunge. Take a peek at your alignment. Want knee straight down from hip and shoulder. And holding on with your left hand, your right arm is the one that's stretching up because it's your right knee that's coming down. So it's that rubber band effect. You can try to reach back a little bit. See if you can soften into your pose. And releasing your arm. Let's go ahead and use core muscles. Give them a second to engage and then come over to the other side. All right. Holding on with right hand, left arm is reaching high. Got that stability going on. Anchoring so we can stretch. Good. Maybe one more breath here. And release. Use core. Come on back. All the way back to center. And then we can talk about core a little bit more because it's important for the back. Support of the back. So I'm going to pretend that my chair it's all one unit, right? So if you have that good fortune of having one solid back for your chair, in the car is a great example for that. So inhale and soften your belly. On your exhale, see if you can press your belly in so much that the low back space, that curve, disappears and it also presses into the back of your chair. Whew, and then let go. So nice place to visit awareness when I talk about engaging the core. It's more than just belly, but it's what we feel the most, I think. So, whew, squeezing. I'm too hot to be doing this right now. And then releasing. So you can do another couple if you want to. And that's also practicing with that muscle memory. So when we're doing this maybe standing and you're able to engage the core, the muscle memory will fire up and be like, that's what it feels like. Okay, so where was I going with that? Let's come out away from the back of the chair and press into the floor, squeezing imaginary block. And there's that, you could do that little press here. See if you can feel that engagement. And then we're going to take the arms up. Yeah. We're going to shift the weight into the feet, but not the toes. And come into chair pose. Utkatasana. And then maybe come all the way up to standing. Yay, you made it. Let your blood pressure level off and all that good stuff. Of course, you could stay seated if you prefer. Let's see. Of course, you can also change your mind and sit back down because I wanted to do ankles standing. And if you think that's nuts, go ahead and take a seat, and that's fine. Moving this out of the way, just because. Push your weight into your right foot. And then into your left foot. Now right foot's coming out. Make sure you're not locking that standing leg. So there's that good posture. There's our core awareness, engagement a little bit. And point and flex. To the full capacity of your little ankle movements. And then you can circle. Are you breathing? Is your posture good? Circle around the other way. And we're going to come back and just feel for a moment. You might feel a little imbalance. It's in the awareness. That's the fun part, right? That's the mindfulness. All right, weight goes into your other leg, so I think that's your right leg, and your left foot's coming out. But we have engagement in breath, and we're pointing and flexing. And circle slowly, and around in the other direction. And we'll plop that foot back down and take another moment of awareness, yes. And then push, squeeze if you're seated. So you're pushing into the floor with those feet, squeezing imaginary block. If you're standing, maybe you want a chair pose. Chair pose with the, I'll say guts coming in, with your core engaged. So I'm thinking about the strength of the legs here. What could I do differently to feel a little bit stronger in the legs? Just keep squeezing imaginary block. And then what if we kind of switched gears? Instead of squeezing block, we pressed imaginary walls out. Ooh, and then squeeze block, press out without moving a lot. And then we're gonna come up and be nice to knees. Yeah. Okay, back to knees. So what we didn't do is our alternate arm and leg. While you're seated, if you're seated, you can do that with your arm if you like. I'm going to just bend and straighten one leg. And you could use this as balance if you wanted to. Or you can keep one hand hovering on the chair, or two hands on the chair. It's up to you. How's your breath? And drop your foot. Same thing on the other side. So really grounding into the floor. We're getting that knee moving. Good. And when you lose your balance, come back to it. Not that easy. Sometimes it throws us off and then we stay flustered for a little bit. We'll keep practicing stuff like that today, I think. So we're going to take our feet wide and head toward warrior two. So if you're seated, your feet can stay in that wide position, or you can turn your right toes and bring your right leg out. So we're going for a stretch on the inside of your thigh. In order to do that, rotate your knee, that thigh, externally so you can see your big toe. Nothing new there, right? We're gonna hold those arms out and then see what happens if we can use our imagination to add some strength. So imagining you have little toddlers hanging on each arm, and see what happens to your core. Little people hanging on your arms. All right, and then we're gonna drop those imaginary toddlers. We're gonna let go of the arms, shrug the shoulders, and turn the toes. All right, other side. So get that knee bent so where you can see your big toe. Yep. And we're gonna bring those arms out again. So we have to do the same thing, right? So imaginary weights, or maybe plants this time. That sounds a little bit more appropriate. So something hanging from your arms, laundry, wet laundry. And then we can release those arms. Good. Straighten the leg, turn the toes, and come back. Good. Shrug your shoulders, circle your head, invite tension to release from your neck and shoulders. All right, so back to balance. I'm gonna keep going. Back to balance. Maybe that's what the name of this class title will be if it makes it onto YouTube. All right, so right leg is holding us up. Visualizing roots going down. We're gonna peel up the left heel. And then maybe you stay here, right? Everything's a maybe. You can go here, you can rotate that leg open. Make sure your body's not compensating, so it's staying nice and tall. Options, plenty of options. You can stay holding onto your chair, or there's that core work. Just by taking added weight away from the body, it makes the core do a little bit more work. One hand can be on the chair. We're going to take those hands back and gently bring your knee forward, plant your foot down. And shake it all off. Let's take a down dog in between sides. That, and we haven't done one yet today. So stretching your spine, you can walk your dog, take a couple of lovely breaths. And we'll walk forward, take a little up dog with the intention of trying to stretch into the hip flexors. Back to mountain. Check in with your intention. See, yep, okay, my toes are level. And it's tree on the other side. So shifting your weight into your left foot. Maybe the right heel comes up. Maybe that's your tree, that's wonderful. You can plant a sapling or a big old tree with your foot lifted. Your core, all that stuff is the trunk, right? It has to be a nice strong trunk in order to grow bigger branches, and that's what we're doing. We're gonna reach out and hope for the best. Yeah, firing up our deep core muscles. How's your breath? Doing great. And we're gonna bring it all back to center. Good, take another down dog. From here, warrior one, look forward, right leg steps forward. We've got the back foot anchored down with the intention of stretching the back of that leg, right? The hamstrings. You see, I'm drawing a blank. It's this heat that's scrambling my brains. And then the front of your hip flexor, play around with the, we'll call this our dial. So if you lean your shoulders forward, you might feel less of a stretch. Most of us will. When you lean your shoulders back, there it is. I feel the stretch that I'm looking for. We'll hold on to the chair with the right hand, and the left arm's gonna maybe reach up. So I wanna invite my awareness into the solidity of my feet into the floor. And then breath and awareness stays into the body to where, okay, this is what I'm feeling here in the hip, a nice stretch. Maybe both arms can come up if my balance is okay. When you're ready to exhale, float your arms down and relax the shoulders. Yep. Hands stay about shoulder distance apart. Use your core muscles to bring that leg back. Our left leg's gonna step forward next. Feeling like you're creating footprints into the floor. And making sure that your knee stays over your ankle and it's not coming way over towards your toes. All right, so there's that dial again, that opportunity to play around with the pose. The only reason why you would want to keep shoulders in front of your hips is if you're taking care of your low back. So find a place that works well for you. Maybe linger with one arm up. Maybe two arms coming up. And the the mind is traveling around, is feeling all these different things, rather than wondering what's coming next, right? We're being in the moment. When you're ready to exhale again, you can drop your arms and thoroughly relax those shoulders. Sometimes we forget to take them out of relaxation or out of tension mode. All right, back to down dog. Okay, this time right leg stepping forward, and as an option you can stay in that warrior one. We're taking a lunge, so if you're standing, the high lunge, and if you'd rather, you could take that seated lunge again that we were doing. So what's the difference? It's a little deeper stretch. back heel is up. I can feel it a lot more in the hip flexor. It's more challenging for balance, so make sure that you're keeping this foot solid into the ground. Okay, so again, option A, keep your right hand on the chair. Maybe there's an option B, maybe not today. So if you want to take both arms up and take that high lunge. Is this making your jaw clench? If so, maybe you're doing too much. You can release your arms, and we're gonna go back to down dog. Down dog, lengthening the spine, lengthening the hamstrings. Go ahead and look forward. His left leg's stepping forward, turn, and then we're gonna take either the warrior one leg if your balance is a little off, or that high lunge. Whew. Need a personal fan. Oh, see how it's going here. Maybe one arm, maybe two arms. And watch along the body. Play that little dialogue game. Is my knee in the right spot? Do I feel a stretch here? Am I benefiting? Am I holding my breath? All that fun stuff. And you can release your arms. One more down dog. I feel like I say that a lot. One more, just one more. All right, we're walking forward, taking upward facing dog. And then balance challenge number, what are we on, like 3 or 4? Good for us. Let's put our weight into the right foot. And the left leg's gonna come up. Left heel. Hip. Rotated open. So another tree pose. But we've already done one. So maybe, just maybe our mind is like, oh, got this. Second time around. So maybe we add a different challenge. Maybe we take our arms out in front. Yeah. Like you're holding on to a nice block. And maybe we take the arms back out. And then we're gonna let go. Bring everything back to neutral. Whoa, wait, and then chair pose or a push squeeze. With softness in your neck and shoulders. Let's do the other side. Come back up through mountain. Mindfully shifting our weight into the other foot. Picking up a heel. Yep, just nice and stable. Rotating that knee open. And you get to decide when you want to start this arm business, if you want to at all. You can keep a hand on the chair. Remember to breathe softly. And when you're wobbling, that's good. That's challenging your stabilizer muscles. And bring an arm in front, another arm in front. You're holding a nice ball, a bucket of ice. And then you're gonna come back and release everything. All right. We'll take our feet a little wider just for variety, to strengthen around in different aspects of the hips and other stabilizers. Sitting the hips back, chair pose. You should be able to wiggle your toes. And to get us to stay here longer, maybe we want to play around with the arms. Maybe one arm comes up and the other arm comes up. Then you can take your arms back down to heart center, and then maybe open to 4 and 8 o'clock. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Oh, did you forget you're in chair pose? Probably not. All right, come up and shake it off, and we're taking our little taps. Tap the kidneys. And we should be good and stretched out, so we can kind of accentuate that flexibility with the strap. So we're gonna grab our strap and go into our Gomukhasana. You could take a seat at this point if you wanted to. We'll hold the strap in the right hand, and we'll take that behind our heads. We do this all the time without the strap, so you know this thing's optional. We're gonna hold onto elbow. Wouldn't be very good if I was stepping on my strap. Alright, so I'm just holding this until I feel comfortable. Releasing this hand. And my chin's trying to stay parallel to the floor. Reach around and grab the strap. So it should be minimal effort. By that, if I could see your facial expression, it won't be going like this, scrunchy, and you're not bent over in the attempt to try to grab the strap. Doesn't always work that way. So we'll just be here for another breath or so. I'm using my head, pressing the weight of my head into my wrist. Yeah, one more breath. And then we're going to release the bottom hand and release the top hand. And again, invite a release in the neck and shoulders. Good. Gurukasana, cow face pose on the other side. Dropping your strap in the left hand. Dropping it down to wherever you can. Back of the neck, back of the head. And then giving that elbow a little extra nudge. Okay. The core can be engaged a little bit, right? To help support the back. You got that right hand shimmying up the spine, grabbing the strap, breathing. Then we'll release the bottom hand and release the top hand. Again, release. And if you feel like you want to just dangle, I prefer head stays above the heart, but just kind of let go in that way, nodding or shaking your head and circling your arms. Okay, and then we'll come back up and do another thing with the strap. Let's take our warrior two with this thing. So I'm taking it behind me. Gosh, I haven't done this one in a while. So we're going to try to pull the strap nice and tight eventually. So if you're seated, maybe you just keep your feet wide for stability. If you wanted to, standing, it depends too if you feel uncomfortable with your balance here. So I'm trying to pull the strap nice and tight, and it's a good way to tone the arms. So get the legs situated in warrior two, got the arms pulling on the strap. Let's see what reverse warrior feels like. And come back to warrior two. See what side angle might feel like. I'm gonna go around my chair. And come back. We're gonna give the hands a break, so we're gonna rest the strap. Turn the toes. Interlace the fingers, stretch them out a little bit. Maybe tuck the chin. You can stay there or inhale and lift. And release. And shrug. Same thing on the other side. Maybe you didn't like the way the strap felt. Maybe you want to use your imaginary strap. And that is fine too. So I'm going to try to pull the strap nice and tight. I feel a lot of work going on here. And maybe a reverse warrior feeling. Doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it's normal, right? All right, coming back and taking our side angle with the strap. And back to warrior two. Good, release, shrug. Let's bring the feet back together and we'll do some heart opening. So holding the strap nice and tight, get the shoulder blades to come together. And we're trying to lift the strap a little bit away from the body. And lifting up through the heart, but not so much the chin. And then release. Yeah, let all that work go again. Making sure I got everything with the strap that I wanted to do, standing, so we can go ahead and take a seat. slow motion. We're gonna sit down and scoot all the way back in the back of the chair and take that little strap on the bottom of the right foot. So right at the ball of the foot. Oh, that feels so good. But then think about your posture. So getting nice and tall with your posture. Elbows should be relaxed-ish down by your sides rather than way out here, right? So we want here, pulled back and somewhat relaxed. So if you have a tendency to hyperflex, be hypermobile in your knee, you can put a little bend in the knee. So a couple of breaths here. We're going to take the strap in the right hand and maybe take the leg out to the right. We're going to go slow and just say, maybe stop here, maybe keep going. So we really want to have stabilization going on this leg and on the torso, so we're not leaning and struggling with eyebrows engaged. Ooh. Maybe take that other free arm out. Make sure you're staying grounded with that left foot. See if you can use your core muscles to direct the leg back. Good. I'm going to bend that knee. Use a strap. Why not? It's there. And come into pigeon pose. So sitting up tall. Let your knee come down in the direction of the floor. It wants to stay up if you're tight. But if you wanted to stretch this piriformis, then anchor it down toward the floor. And then you can lean forward with that. There's that straight spine with your head drawing back. We'll take a few breaths. And when we're ready, we'll pop back up. And we can stretch that leg out, point and flex and circle, and love on that knee a little bit. On the sides, even if your knees aren't achy, it's nice to get them recirculating again. Get behind your knee joint. Okay, let's do the other side. We'll lasso up us a foot, get your ball of your foot. Spine is nice and tall. And remembering to anchor your right foot. Take a couple of breaths. It'll work for the hands. So when our hamstrings get tight, it does lend to an uncomfortable back, so just keeping these guys happy back here is that's what we're aiming for. All right, and then we get to take the strap into the left hand, and again slowly, mindfully, because we're staying stabilized, so it takes a little mind effort. And we'll take that leg slowly out. Maybe the other hand comes out for balance. Shoulders stay stacked over hips. Harder to breathe. And we'll gently bring it back. Bend that knee. And if it works for you, you can come into your pigeon pose. Keep your foot flexed, active. Let's see, I think we might be done with this thing. So enjoy your pigeon. Hinge forward with that straight spine, allowing your knee to, if it wants to come up, that's just a relaxation pose, which is fine if that's what you're desiring, but if you want to stretch, drawing your knee toward the floor. And on our inhale, we get to come up and stretch that leg out. Reinflate the foot and the knee. to neutralize, let's do our cat-cow with a extra leg massage. So we'll exhale and round the spine as our hands glide down to the knees, and inhale, let the hands glide back up toward the body. Arching and rounding the spine, and then lifting the heart. One more time. And back to mountain pose. Feel that tall, stabilizing, empowering mountain pose. And then from here, you can twist to your right. Let the shoulders relax. Nothing's feeling like it has to have extra effort here. So if you're feeling strain in the neck, you can look in a different direction. You can soften. On your next inhale, come back to your center. And again, minimal effort. With the tall spine though, twisting to your left. And inhale back to your center. Okay, we'll exhale and lean forward. Inhaling and coming back up. We'll do a little hand sequence. A little brain, but not too much. Yeah, that's for personal reasons today. So start with playing the piano. Your thumb gets to actually tickle the ivory as well, so don't leave your thumb out. Good. And we'll do our whole hand sequence. We're going to reach up, but spread through your fingers and grasp and reach. You could even look up and grasp. Make sure you're breathing. It's a nice place to inhale, right? Let's do 2 more. Good. And then we're going to reach forward. So with that straight spine, wide spread fingers, grasp the oars, and then you're going to squeeze your elbows next to your ribs and draw them back. So extensors and then posture. That's how I think of it. And strengthening through the hands. Let's do 2 more of those. And last one, and then we'll think about just a tiny bit of brain. It's not too hard, right? Our pancake hands, which we've done a million times. We've got this. One hand is down and the other palm is up on your lap. And then you're switching them back and forth. So I'm trying to get that full rotation. Sometimes the hand doesn't want to rotate all the way open. So full rotation, you could even press into your lap with good posture. If that's too easy, you can go a little faster. And then just to shake everything off. Low, medium, and up high. Yep. And then we're going to rub the hands together and do our self-massage. Start with your right leg, lightly brush stroking up. Skip any parts if you've had a lumpectomy. Left leg, the groin, the belly, the right arm, brush stroke, armpit, left arm, armpit, and the sternum. Careful not to rush. Take it easy and enjoy tapping on your mohawk line to your ears. And thumbs find the base of your skull. There's a little notch back there. And then work your way out to your earlobes. Peace fingers sandwich your earlobes. Get some circles in there. Find your jawbone, the bottom of your jawbone, lightly brush stroke to the chin and down the front of your throat to your heart. And you can settle in and get as comfortable as you possibly can. Some days it's easier than others, right? So you want to feel warm because we're no longer moving, so our body's going to cool off a little bit. Wiggle around, see what else you need to feel 10% more comfortable. And then we'll go ahead and start to really focus on the breath. So let your eyes close or gaze down. Invite stillness in the body so your mind will also feel still and calm. Watching the breath with an observational eye rather than a judgmental or a Mr. Fix-It kind of eye. So we're just watching. And you might notice one nostril might feel more clear than the other. Maybe your breath feels shallow or full. It just depends. And we get to exercise a little bit of control here, so ensuring that your belly's rising with your inhale and softening with your exhale. Chest is moving very little, if at all. Let the tongue drop off the roof of the mouth and invite your mouth to feel watery. Maybe swallow to release any tension in your throat. Keeping the breath in the foreground, and in the background just notice how your face muscles feel around your whole head, the top of the head, the back of your head. Become aware of how your neck feels, your shoulders. Notice your arms, your hands. And become aware of your fingers. Breathing into and noticing your back and the front side of your torso. And notice your pelvis, your hips. Becoming aware of your legs, through the knees, your ankles. Noticing your feet and all 10 toes. Becoming aware again with that observational eye, non-judgmentally, noticing the whole body, as if your whole body could breathe in and your whole body can breathe out. Gently, effortlessly. Maybe bring your mind back in to notice the whole body again. So you can take a mental picture of how you're feeling. Physically, emotionally, mentally. Maybe it's a good time to ponder a few things that you feel thankful for. Start wiggling fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. And plugging your feet into the floor with that nice deep breath. We're going to stretch those arms up. Bring the palms back down to heart center. Wonderful. Thank you for taking time out of your day to practice your yoga. Namaste. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Drink lots of water. That's my public service announcement.